a stump and I slap. I'm having lunch with Italian Sunday, don't ask the subject. Lord, why you took rabbit from me? He say don't ask me nothing. Too many bodies, too many bundles, not enough. These bugging, I heard they stun you. It's gonna be trouble.
All right, Larry, EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to rain-soaked Miami, Florida. Today, two AFC teams set to do battle as we've got a good one in store between the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. Play fake to Johnson. Now here's Griffin. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
So much of this game is about leverage. We always talk about low man wins in the trenches. Well, it's like that at just about every position. And sometimes, if you lose that leverage and you're losing the battle, just jump up at the line of scrimmage and try and bat the ball away. And that's exactly what happened there.
And that'll hit and go out of bounds, so they'll start just outside their own 40-yard line. So our attention shifts back to the New York Jets. The win in Week 8 got them to 3-5. But looking at the offensive numbers, 28th in points, 23rd in passing yards. So it has been a struggle at times, hasn't it?
It certainly has, and that's why Ryan Fitzpatrick lost his job for a while to Geno Smith. And then after Geno Smith's injury, he reclaimed that. I think as long as the Jets are in playoff contention, Ryan Fitzpatrick is their quarterback. But if they get eliminated, it'll be interesting to see if head coach Todd Bowles turns to Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg and sees what they have to offer.
And he gets halfway there down to the 1-yard line. Only a yard on the pickup there. 2nd and goal.
That run didn't get very far, and I think when you're looking at his dimensions, he's a little bit on the smaller side. He's counting on the big guys up front to escort him in, and they couldn't create any kind of space for him, could they?
Yeah, didn't get the push they needed. And this will be caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Jets. Rob Gronkowski, a 1-yard touchdown reception. And the Jets have taken a first-quarter lead. And we'll see if this rain affects the team's decisions going forward, but they kick it here, and it's good. Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Cleveland Browns coming back on offense, and we've talked about it. Everyone knows they're 0-8. They've had some close games, including this past week, just a 3-point loss to the Jets, but they can't seem to get over the hump, partner.
I know their head coach, Hugh Jackson, pretty well. I coached with him in college. And if they can keep Josh McCown healthy for more than a 2-game stretch, because that's been the biggest issue they've had, the revolving door quarterback, no consistency, there's no way that this team is going 0-16. Not in his makeup, not in his character, and he won't let it happen.
And now the rookie's free. And all the way in. Touchdown, New York. A great effort there. 38 yards. And the Jets are going to add on to their lead.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run. And one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock.
Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Browns offense, they get ready to head back onto the field. And they had the fumble last time that led to a touchdown. That's a no-no. We'll see what they do here this go-around.
A big no-no. Put that in capital letters. Turning it over, the other team takes it down and scores. That can be a deflator for a football team. Now it's up to the offense to get back out on the field and pick things up.
You know, they're out there. We'll see if they can pick those things back up. To throw is RG3. And this is Gabriel on the catch. Give him 3 on the play, and that'll make this a 2nd down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
They come out here in the eye. On 2nd down, here's Griffin. He's going to sling this deep downfield. A battle for it, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And they will take over at the 26-yard line. Now the Jets offense, they get ready to head back onto the field. And they will simply, Charles, be looking to duplicate what they did last drive when they were able to push it in for 6.
And they hope it'll be that easy, right? To be able to take exactly what happened before, replicate it. They have to make a few additional changes along the way because I'm sure.
And he's in. Touchdown, Jets. Rod Streeter, 73 yards. And the Jets find a way to stretch their lead.
Well, Brandon, if we go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator, he showed us his script. Didn't show us everything now. He said, here's the script for the game. I think everything's going according to plan in a big way. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can do, I guess. So, well done.
Yeah, well done indeed. Tremendous execution.
Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
And Crowell lost the football. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, and that could have been trouble. So they almost turn it over there. Scary moment. 2nd down here.
All I can say about this play is that someone's living right. I mean, he's trying to gain yardage, trying to get upfield. Ball comes free. What's that?
And he loses the football a 2nd time. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
Wow. That ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get them home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover.
This team doesn't mind running the ball in any situation, and I thought he was going to get the 1st down the way the play developed, but the defense closed in and stopped him just about a yard short.
And here's a very low-line drive, almost whiffed on it. And this will be touched by a member of the kicking team right on the midfield stripe. And New York set to take the field. And following that long touchdown pass, a 1-play drive last time, see if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. That's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
From the 50, Newton. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
After watching him drop that slant, I can hear my old coach's voice ringing in my ears right now. You can't run with the ball until you catch it. Trying to get those rack yards before he secured it.
Newton now to throw. And that one is incomplete. He just dropped it. But they're up big on the scoreboard, so maybe he can chuckle about later.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
Incomplete pass on 2nd down. Let's see what the offense draws up here on 3rd. Throwing on 3rd down, Newton. Flush to his right. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he's brought down after a good gain. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
Well, the advantage has certainly shifted to the defense as we began that third down play, and they found a way to foil it and pick up a first down.
Third time's a charm, right? 2 incompletions. Had to have it on third, and they got it.
Yeah, they stuck with it, weren't daunted at all, and picked it up.
In the red zone this time.
We are watching a runner having a really nice game. Carrying it very well. Vision is excellent, but boy, look at the help he's getting. Offensive line, I think they're pretty eager to block for him.
And they can't get the long connection as it falls incomplete.
Not too many things get to a quarterback of this magnitude, but I think it's safe to say that pressure can get to any quarterback.
Now, he's obviously a great franchise quarterback, but felt the pressure, threw it incomplete. Call it no gain that time, and they're going to be left looking up at a 4th and 1. Now, whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. And no move to get the offense off the field. They'll stay put on 4th and 1. And on the ground they go with a running back. And he will have the first down before he's tackled at the 12.
This is a question of who wants it more. Easy to get stuck behind all the big bodies, but you've got to find a space and fight forward for the first down.
On 1st and 10, Newton. And his throw is going to be incomplete.
I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. No one got it. And this one's incomplete. It's been a pretty long drive. This will be play number 9. And they need 10 yards out of it on 3rd. Here's Newton. Got a man. It's caught. Touchdown, Jets. Their big-bodied receiver. A 12-yard touchdown grab. And the Jets are going to add on to their lead. And in the red zone, I guess this is why you have a guy like that on your roster.
Without a doubt, if you have him, you use him because he's a guy who's going to win just about every time. I don't care what the coverage is.
Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. A beautiful fake. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And last drive, 3 and out. Still a goose egg on the scoreboard. How do they break that goose egg?
They've got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, get them some space, and try and make a first down and get some momentum going. It's been a struggle for them throughout the game, and that 3 and out on the last possession, that told you just how stalled they are on offense.
So who will step up here? We'll see. Now Griffin on 2nd down. His throw incomplete. Andre Hawkins, the intended receiver. And now it's 3rd down. And the offense looking to pick up the first down after the 2nd down incompletion. On 3rd down, Griffin. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th.
Well, no second guessing the call here. It was 3rd and long, so throwing the football was probably the smart play to try and pick it up. But they don't get it, and now the defense goes off the field feeling pretty good about themselves, gaining some momentum as they force them into a likely punt.
A big rush, and it's blocked. Jets come after him, and they get him. But they will stop him before he gets to the marker, and they will take over after the blocked punt. And the Jets set to take the field. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in the touchdown looked pretty good, so they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan and thought there were some holes in the defense, and they exploited them the last time out. Let's see if they can come back and put together a similar drive.
And we'll see if they can do just that. Newton to throw. Flushed out right. And he slings one that's incomplete. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. An extra defensive back on the field here for 3rd and goal. To throw is Newton. And they get to Newton and take him down for the sack. The former first-rounder, Barkevious Mingo. The offense stays out there. A big challenge here from this far back, but they're going for it on 4th and goal. Now Newton. And this will be caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Jets. Their dangerous wide receiver with his second touchdown in this opening quarter. And this Jets offense continues to pour it on. Wow, talk about a big 4th down conversion for the score. Defensively, how do you let that happen?
I think you start with the offense, and you give them credit for going for it and having that type of, well, let's face it, audacity. But defensively, I think you're right on target, partner. There's no way something like that's supposed to happen in that situation.
Now a hit and a loose football. And this is picked up by the Browns. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything to grab onto right now, aren't they?
I'm wondering if someone's going to take charge in the huddle. You know, we always look to the quarterback, but sometimes it's another player on the team, a star, a veteran, someone with some excitement and energy. It's like, all right, guys, let's shake things up and let's go, because they still have an opportunity to make things happen.
Shake it off.
Muhammad Wilkerson elevated a Temple program that was looking for players like him, and he's carried that on into the NFL. What a terrific play there.
A nice tackle for loss for the former Temple Owl, as you said, and the 30th pick in the 2011 draft. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
2 plays in a row, the defense won, stacking up the running game. They've got to feel good about themselves, but something has to be in the back of their minds. Are we being set up for something big? They've got to be careful.
Dumping it off for Johnson. And Johnson lost the football. It's loose, poked out, and it's scooped up by the Jets. And he's going to get this on down to the 13-yard line. The Jets offense now. Works their way back onto the field. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around. Give him 6 on the play, and it'll make it a 2nd down.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
And he is in. Touchdown, New York. A great play there with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter. And this Jet offense starting to run away with this one. He told us he was going to hit the end zone a couple times in this game. I just don't know that he envisioned doing it in the first quarter.
He probably did. I'm not sure we did,
yeah.
Right? Because all the great ones, that's what they do. They dream about it, right? They think about it. They envision it. They think it's going to happen and almost will themselves into it. I just look at what he's done so far and just wonder what's left to come.
And he loses the football a 2nd time. And now the Browns offense trots back onto the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. So you can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense. But when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise it's going to be a long day for you.
And their inaugural sack of the game. Coming from an unlikely source.
You mean it wasn't a linebacker? It wasn't a defensive end?
It was somebody like you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a surprise for the offense. That's not what they normally get when they think about pressure.
It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
And for K'Wan Short, the questions about his motor really went away in 2015. Boy, what a season he had.
17 tackles for a loss last year, and, of course, give him another one right there. Oh, and he's not going to make it out of the end zone. The push too strong, and that'll be a safety. And the safety there, another mistake, and these mistakes just keep piling up.
How many more can they make? They put themselves in such a massive hole now. Going to be difficult to dig out from under.
Yeah, for sure they can't afford anymore at this point. On 1st down, it's Newton. He's got time in the pocket. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, 2nd down.
And when all else fails as a defender, when you're not there in the coverage, your best friend is exactly what we saw there. A big play shot taken by the offense. Unfortunately, it ended in a big drop. It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. And almost picked off. I guess the good news for them now, it's 4th down.
Well, he did almost everything right. Excellent coverage, breaks on the football, just unable to haul it in and take it the other way. So he dropped an interception. The key for him now, don't dwell on it. Just move on to the next play.
He's going to rifle one deep left side. That's caught inside the 20. It's a big-time play there on 4th and 10. And even 40 yards.
And they pick up the 1st down on a 4th down play. I don't know if the defense relaxed because they thought maybe they'd stopped them on 3rd down, or if they just didn't protect the sticks very well. But, boy, that's a big-time pickup right there.
This will be caught at about the 3. That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it 1st and goal. And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the 1st half. Boy, a tough start for the secondary defensively.
It is, and it's got to put a dent in their confidence. And, you know,
and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Jets. A great effort there. Doing it again with his 3rd touchdown here in the opening quarter. And this Jets offense continues to pour it on. He's on pace now for 12 rushing touchdowns, and I think he's making fantasy owners smile.
I think you've got to change something on defense, don't you? I mean, we often talk about using a spy on a quarterback who has the ability to run and maneuver outside of the pocket. Maybe they need to change that to spying him, because this many touchdowns this early, that is demoralizing for a defense. One guy breaking them down.
And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And last time they surrendered the safety, we know they don't want to do that again.
That is just one of those oddities in scoring that we get. And it's just so strange to see that go up on the board. And then you got to make sure that that doesn't happen to your team again. They've got to take care of the ball.
But, boy, it juices up the defense.
Oh, without a doubt. That's a great way to score some points.
On 2nd down, here's Crowell. And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. So he loses 3 yards there. Now 3rd down.
To me, that's a superior play by the backer, because he was allowed to, I think, run free on it and make that play. Those defensive linemen, they covered things down for him, because offensive guys, the linemen, what they're trying to do, as you know, is block the guy that point of attack and then climb to the next level and get the linebacker. When you're not allowed to climb, you got a free hitter, and that's what we saw there, and a really nice play resulted for them.
And now a low liner. I think he mishit it. And it's going to be a short field to work with after this one. It's touchdown at the 45-yard line. And New York set to take the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
On first down, Newton. Over the middle, it's complete. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. It'll be a gain of 4, and it'll be a second down. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is it not? With his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing it over the middle, he can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play. But what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
They'll put 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Now a first down throw for Newton. Buying time to his left. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that'll make it 2nd and goal.
Yeah, he only gets a few yards on 1st and 10, but he's better off doing that than throwing an incompletion or, even worse, an interception.
Henry, the lone man in the backfield. And he's going to take it in for a Jets touchdown. Jarvis Landry from 6 yards away. And this Jet offense starting to run away with this one.
I know a lot of people look at these games and think, all right, this thing's done. Let's have some sportsmanship. Let's not try and score. You should never do that in the NFL. I've seen big leads blown, and teams that look like they had a victory, all of a sudden we're going home with a loss.
Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. Big mistake here by the kicker, kicking it out of bounds.
The one that drives coaches crazy. Keep it in the field of play and let your guys cover.
And Griffin gives to Crowell. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
Well, on that play, the expression, don't blink, you might miss something, certainly applied. That was fast. Defense diagnosed the play, and it was over in a heartbeat.
They'll run it again with Crowell. 3 yards on the pickup there, but they've only got it back to 3rd and 10.
When we talk about Luke Kuechly, you can't talk about his overall game without talking about his intelligence and how he controls the whole defense. He quarterbacks that defense, and at times will actually make checks, just like a quarterback would on offense, to get them into the right defense. They definitely were on that play. How about that finish? Holding that to a minimal gain.
Here's Andy Lee now. Remember, though, he did have one blocked earlier. They bring the pressure, and this one's a duck. And this ball is going to be touchdown just shy of midfield. And now out come the Jets. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
You love pressure.
I love it.
We'll see if they dial it up this drive. Oh, spinning away. Uses the stiff arm. And he's going to take it in for a Jets touchdown. Cam Newton, a 15-yard touchdown run. And this Jets offense continues to pour it on. And we certainly know that Cam Newton can do just that. He had 10 rushing touchdowns last year and a nice one there.
And it wouldn't surprise me if one day That number got up to 20 if they so chose because of his frame. One of the bigger, stronger players in the league, especially at his position. When he carries the ball and gets a full head of steam, you're dealing with a full-grown man.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And 3 and out on the last drive. No points on the scoreboard. A little soul-searching now?
I would say so, and they need to help out their defense a little bit. They've had to be on the field a lot more than normal, put them in some tough spots. But what's the old adage? When you get another chance, it gives you a better chance to do it right.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. On 2nd down, Griffin. And this is Gabriel on the catch. And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-armed guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to...
Now a loose football. Coleman lost it. And the defense not able to get it. From a defensive perspective, what's that moment like when you realize the ball is loose?
It is a moment where all concentration goes right to the football. This is something you've talked about in all your preparation for the game. You probably talked about this training camp. Knock the ball free, take it away from the other team, and now you have that chance. There's a little bit of deflation when they end up recovering it.
They knocked it free, but couldn't take it away. Again, it's Crowell, and he is going to lose yardage here. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
I saw Von Miller in college at Texas A&M, and all I kept hearing about was his speed off the edge to the quarterback. But what impressed me, his balance and his ability to take on blocks and be a force in the run game, as we just saw there.
And that one incomplete. Had some position, but couldn't hold on, and it brings up 4th down. Here's Andy Lee now as he's on to punt for Cleveland.
One thing I know from experience is that when the deep ball is thrown and you're the defender, you've got to fight that little bit of panic that emerges. You've got to play the ball really well. It's a 50-50 jump ball play. And guess what? They took a shot. How are you going to win it? And in this case, they managed to get it done.
Here's the Jet offense now. They head out to take over. Now Newton on 1st down. Escaping the pressure right. Throwing right, and that's complete. He's at the 30. And he takes this down deep into Cleveland territory. Big yardage that time for the Jets. 44 yards.
Coaches really don't care from what position they get this, but run after the catch ability, rack ability, is often the difference between winning and losing and changing field position.
Got a man, it's caught. Touchdown, Jets. Rod Streeter with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter. And this Jet offense starting to run away with this one. That's a heck of a start to this one for him here in the 1st quarter.
2 receiving touchdowns, just getting the game underway essentially. I mean, there's a long way to go. If I'm on defense, I've got to figure out how to slow this guy down. Because when one guy shreds your team, that's demoralizing. Make him spread it around at least. But right now, he's showing no signs of slowing down.
Set to return. Here's Raheem Mostert. And in hindsight, probably should have stayed where he was, as he'll only get back to the 16-yard line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held them to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
Griffin going to give to Crowell. And he'll get this one across the 20, but only up to about the 21. Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's 3rd down. And this will probably be the last play of the quarter. Back with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. The Browns with a football to begin.
Watch that in. Watch that
Now Griffin. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and that'll bring up 4th down. Here's Andy Lee now as he's on to punt for Cleveland. Oh, it's a wobbler here. And not his best effort there, as this one's going to be spotted down just outside of the 40-yard line. Now the Jet offense about to take over as they head out onto the field. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. Newton on 1st down. Looking middle, it's caught by Gronkowski. And he's brought down. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician, Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this, or he keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
And on that last play there, he's over 400 yards passing now.
You know what that generally means?
Success.
That, and it means you really didn't miss opportunities. Usually very accurate. The ball's getting to the right place. Guys are making yardage after the catch to help you out that way. I mean, the whole team has picked it up. And don't forget, that means the offensive line has had to pass protect pretty well, too.
Everyone dialed in. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and that is going to set up 3rd and goal. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does.
And he is in. Touchdown, New York. And that rushing touchdown, his 4th, puts him just 1 shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it, but he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. On the return, here's Justin Gilbert. And all deep in his own territory, he coughs up the football. And he will bring it back to about the 11-yard line. So out now come the Jets. And they'll start this drive with very good field position.
There's never a good place on the field to fumble the ball. Let's just call it as it is.
But definitely not in your own red zone. And he's in. Touchdown, Jets. Jarvis Landry with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. And this Jets offense continues to pour it on. And the route is on here in this first half. Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. Here comes Gilbert. Now a hit and a loose football. And nothing but green grass here, middle of the field. And he takes it to the house. It's a fumble recovery for a Jet touchdown. So they get the 1-score kickoff, get a fumble, take it right back to the house. 2 quick touchdowns within a matter of about 10 seconds on the game clock.
It's like a big 1-2 punch that may lead to a knockout.
So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. Here comes Gilbert. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. And now the Browns coming out on the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency. Move the ball at least a few times on offense. Get a couple of first downs.
And the Jets pressure too much as down he goes. The Pro Bowler, Muhammad Wilkerson, in there to make the sack. He buries him for a loss of 10.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Now a handoff to Crowell. And there just continues to be nowhere to run. He's bottled up again at the line of scrimmage.
But was stopped on that play. We've had plenty of carries all afternoon. Every now and then the defense is going to win one, but I don't think they'll shy away from handing it to him the rest of the game.
They stay on the ground. This time it's Johnson. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. It'll be a gain of 7, but I'd imagine we'll see the punt team here on 4th down. Here's Andy Lee now as he's on to punt for Cleveland. The Jets offensive unit ready to get going here. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. On 1st and 10, Newton. It's complete right side to Benjamin. The 20. 30 yards on the pickup there. That's good for a Jets first down.
As we continue to advance in the NFL, as people continue to scout players, they really don't care as much about body types as they care about those guys who can make people miss, run through tackles, and gain all that additional run after catch. Anybody has that ability, they want them on their team.
He was looking to get it to Jarvis Landry that time. That'll bring up 2nd down. To the air, Newton on 2nd down. He's going to get this one out to his fullback. And he's going to take it in for a Jets touchdown. Mike Tolbert, an 11-yard touchdown. And this Jet offense starting to run away with this one. And he wasn't blocking or running it there. They tossed it to him.
And you remember the good old days when the 49ers were riding roughshod in the league? They used their fullback in pass plays all the time. Roger Craig, Tom Rathman, those guys were terrific at running these types of plays.
Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. Here comes Gilbert. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. All right, so the call stands. Tough now. They're out of challenges. Do you like the amount of challenges they have in the NFL?
I do, because I think it brings a little extra strategy into the game about a head coach trying to determine when is the right time to pull the challenge flag, or maybe I let that one pass because I might need it later on in a bigger situation.
Griffin gives to Crowell on the draw. Across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
It's a gain of just 3, and the offense likely going to yield to the punting unit here on 4th down.
Well, this was just simply excellent defense. On this 3rd down, they had to be alert for the possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stuffed them for almost no gain.
They'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the